Pause. In the next hour, you can rewire what sabotages you quietly while you sleep. This audiobook slips past resistance to speak, where decisions are born, your subconscious. If you crave fewer doubts, stronger focus, and calm that does not break, listen now. The words are keys, the night is the door, and your future self is waiting on the other side. Before we begin, take a moment to slow down. And if you're someone who values depth over noise, tap like. It helps YouTube send you more of what actually grows your mind. Introduction. Listen in the quiet between breaths. Your life is already bending toward you. This is not a book for daytime noise. It is a doorway for night. Each phrase a key, each pause a hinge. You did not arrive by accident. Alignment brought you here, the same current that steers stars and tides now guiding your attention to these words. As you rest the gates of the subconscious open, thought softens memory, widens, and what you have always known but rarely heard begins to rise like light from deep water. You are not being taught. You are remembering. The universe has kept your place. Feel your body grow heavy and your spirit grow spacious. You are rooted in earth, infinite in sky. The language you are entering is not argument, but vibration. Numbers that repeat songs that appear at the perfect moment, faces that return like echoes. These are not coincidences. They are sentences in the hidden alphabet that reality uses to speak with you. This work asks nothing of force. Rivers do not push to reach the sea. They find their channel and flow. Transformation happens the same way, by tuning the inner tone until the outer world mirrors it. What repeats in your life is not mockery. It is guidance. What resists is not a wall. It is a key you have not yet turned. Breathe. Let the night carry you. The words will continue after the mind lets go, weaving through breath and heartbeat, impressing remembrance upon the field. You are stepping into a living temple, forbidden only to the unready. But you are ready. You have always been. Listen with your whole being. Begin where you are. The door is open. Walk through. Tonight, let remembering replace effort, and let alignment do the work gently. Chapter 1. The hidden language of the universe. If the universe could speak, it would not use human words. It would speak in patterns, in repetition, in the rhythm of events that echo across your days. It would whisper through coincidences, through the song that plays at the exact moment you need courage, through the stranger who says what your heart secretly asked for. Most people call these moments luck or chance, but those who are awake know this is the language of the universe. Every experience is a sentence, every emotion a tone, every choice a punctuation mark. Life is not happening to you. It is communicating with you. The external world mirrors the frequencies you emit, organizing itself around the messages you unconsciously broadcast. If your inner signal is fear, life responds with obstacles. If your inner signal is clarity, life arranges ease. This is not philosophy, it is physics. Energy seeks resonance. The invisible becomes visible through pattern. Think of reality as a vast field of potential infinite outcomes, infinite timelines, vibrating all at once. Your attention acts as a tuning fork. Whatever you consistently focus upon, you attune to. When you dwell on lack, you synchronize with scarcity. When you cultivate gratitude, you synchronize with expansion. The universe does not discriminate between good or bad. It simply amplifies whatever frequency you hold. The ancient mystics understood this long before quantum science named it. They carved symbols into stone, not as decoration, but as resonance tools, visual frequencies encoded to awaken memory. Each shape, each sound, each color carried vibrational data. The Egyptians called it Heka, the power of the word that creates reality. In Sanskrit, it was Shabda Brahman, sound, as divine source. Today we glimpse it through experiments showing how sound waves organize matter into geometric forms. Creation is, and always has been, vibration made visible. To live consciously is to learn this language again. Start by listening. Observe the patterns that repeat in your life, the types of people who appear, the lessons that re-emerge in new forms, the emotions that seem to chase you through different stories. These are not accidents. They are syntax. The universe repeats until you comprehend. Once you understand the meaning, the pattern dissolves and a new one begins. You are in constant dialogue with everything around you, with time, with energy, with the unseen architecture of life. When you shift from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is this teaching me?" you move from confusion to fluency. Awareness translates suffering into wisdom. Every event becomes a messenger. Every delay, a paragraph in the story of your becoming. Tonight, as you listen and rest, imagine that the entire cosmos is writing to you in real time, through memory, through coincidence, through breath. The wind that brushes your window carries instruction. The heartbeat in your chest is the universe keeping rhythm with itself. You are not a spectator of creation. You are a syllable in its endless poem. Once you begin to feel this, not just know it, your world will shimmer differently. Conversations will echo with deeper meaning. Numbers will appear as markers of alignment. Every experience will hum with quiet intelligence. You will understand that the universe never stopped speaking. You simply forgot how to listen. And now you remember. Chapter 2. The Law of Energy Flow. Energy is the bloodstream of existence, eternal fluid and self-balancing. Nothing in the universe is ever still. Even in silence, particles dance. Even in darkness, light hums beneath the surface. What you call your life is not a sequence of separate events, but a single current of energy flowing through form after form, moment after moment. The truth is simple, and absolute energy never dies. It only changes direction. Every thought you think, every emotion you hold, every breath you take, sends a ripple through this current. Imagine throwing a stone into water waves, expand outward, touch distant shores, and eventually return to the center. So too does the energy you release. Love sent into the world circles back multiplied. Fear projected outward returns, disguised as chaos. What you give, you receive not as punishment, but as resonance. The universe is not moral. It is musical. It does not reward or punish, it harmonizes. When your energy clashes with the natural rhythm of life, you experience resistance, fatigue, stagnation, frustration. When you align with the current, doors open effortlessly. Flow is not something you chase. It is something you remember by letting go of control. Look at nature. Rivers do not strain to reach the ocean. They move by surrendering to gravity, curving around obstacles instead of fighting them. The same law applies to you. When you resist what is clinging to outcomes, replaying the past, fearing the future, you dam the river of your own power. Energy trapped in resentment or fear cannot circulate. It decays into anxiety, doubt, and exhaustion. But the moment you breathe deeply, forgive, and release, the dam breaks. Life rushes in again. Ideas appear. Synchronicities return. Vitality restores. This is why gratitude and forgiveness are not sentimental practices. They are energetic technologies. Gratitude accelerates circulation. Forgiveness removes stagnation. Both are the physics of abundance. You are a conduit, not a container. Energy is meant to move through you, not stop with you. When you hoard, whether it is love, money, attention, or power, you create imbalance. The law of energy flow demands circulation. To receive endlessly, you must give fearlessly. That is why generosity expands wealth and why genuine kindness magnetizes opportunity. The more freely you let energy move, the more abundantly it returns. Think of every challenge in your life as a blocked current, asking for release. Ask yourself, where have I been resisting flow? Where have I been gripping too tightly? The answer will reveal the exact point where energy needs to move. Sometimes the release requires action. Sometimes it only requires surrender. Both are forms of motion. You are not separate from the universal circuit. You are part of it. Each time you align thought, emotion, and action, your personal frequency synchronizes with the rhythm of creation. This is why joy feels effortless. It is the sensation of being in resonance with life's natural current. So tonight, as you rest, imagine your energy as golden light moving freely through every cell. Feel it spiral through your heart, out into the room, into the stars, and back again. There is no boundary, only circulation. The more you let it flow, the lighter you become. Energy moves. You move with it. And in that motion, everything begins to change. Chapter 3. The Mirror of Reality. Reality is not a wall that stands before you. It is a mirror that reflects you. Every circumstance, every encounter, every delay, every success, each is a precise reflection of your inner vibration. What you call life happening is simply life responding. The world is not testing you. It is teaching you what you believe. If you look closely, you'll see the pattern. When you feel unseen, people overlook you. When you doubt your worth, opportunities hesitate to appear. When you walk with certainty, the ground itself seems to rise to meet your feet. Reality does not oppose you. It imitates you. It takes the shape of the energy you project most consistently, not the affirmations you repeat once, but the frequency you embody daily. This is why change feels difficult. People try to alter the mirror without touching the reflection's source. They chase new jobs, partners, and places only to recreate the same emotions in different settings. The outer world cannot heal what the inner world refuses to confront. Until you transform, the vibration within the mirror must remain faithful to what it reflects. Think of light hitting glass. The mirror has no opinion about what it shows. It simply returns whatever stands before it. So does reality. When you carry fear, it shows you shadows. When you embody gratitude, it shows you grace. The mirror is not cruel. It is accurate. And accuracy is mercy, because only through reflection can we truly see ourselves. To master this law is to stop fighting the reflection and start tuning the source. You cannot polish the mirror enough to make a frown look like a smile. You must relax the face that frowns. Likewise, you cannot control the world into peace. You must calm the mind that projects chaos. Inner harmony always precedes outer order. When something painful appears in your reality, ask, what frequency within me does this reveal? Perhaps it is a forgotten wound asking for light, or a belief inherited from someone else. Do not judge it, observe it. Observation without resistance dissolves illusion. Awareness itself is transformation. Science echoes this ancient wisdom through the observer effect. Subatomic particles behave differently when watched, as if awareness itself alters the outcome. You are that observer, the consciousness that shapes the field. When you see yourself clearly, the mirror of life rearranges accordingly. The key is responsibility, not blame. Responsibility means recognizing your creative power. Blame means punishing yourself for having it. The mirror does not condemn. It simply offers feedback. Every reflection, pleasant or painful, is an invitation to remember your authorship. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" begin asking, "What in me is being shown for healing?" That single shift turns victimhood into mastery. It is the difference between seeing life as punishment and seeing it as a compass, pointing toward liberation. Tonight, as you listen and drift, imagine the world as a vast mirror surrounding you. With every thought and breath, you polish it, not by force, but by clarity. As the fog of self-doubt fades, the reflection brightens. You begin to see that the world has never been separate from you. It was your own consciousness, gazing back all along. When the inner light changes, the outer world cannot resist following. You are not trapped in reflection. You are the source of it. And when you understand that the mirror becomes a doorway. Chapter 4. The Forgotten Power of Thought. Everything begins as thought. Every invention, every creation, every revolution, all were once invisible whispers in someone's mind before they took form in the world. You are surrounded by thoughts made solid, the chair you sit on, the music you hear, even the name you answer to. The unseen precedes the seen always. The mind is not a passenger in creation. It is the architect. Your thoughts are electric currents shaping the magnetic field around you. Each one sends a signal into the fabric of the universe, a command that reality obeys without question. Yet most people let their thoughts run wild, unaware they are issuing instructions every moment. They think about fear, lack, and rejection, and then wonder why life echoes the same. The universe is obedient, not selective. It mirrors whatever energy you broadcast most often, whether conscious or unconscious. To understand the power of thought is to realize you are not your thoughts. You are their origin. You can observe them, choose them, redirect them. The mind is a tool, a sacred forge, where images become energy and energy becomes matter. But when the forge is left unattended, it smokes with confusion and chaos. To reclaim your mind is to reclaim your reality. Thoughts do not vanish. They gather momentum. Each time you repeat a belief, it gains charge. Think I am unworthy 1,000 times, and that vibration thickens into a self-fulfilling fog. But think I am capable, and slowly the fog thins, letting light through. The process is not instant, because reality honors consistency over impulse. One clear thought may plant the seed, but sustained thought grows the forest. The ancients knew this. They guarded their thoughts as carefully as treasure, understanding that mental discipline was not repression, but creation. They practiced visualization, not as fantasy, but as rehearsal for reality, training the quantum field to recognize the shape of their intention. Modern neuroscience now confirms this. The brain cannot distinguish vividly imagined experience from physical action. Every thought fires the same neural pathways, carving grooves in the mind through repetition. Eventually, the body and the universe respond as if it were already true. This is why mindfulness is not mere calmness. It is authorship. You become what you repeatedly think, because thought directs both biology and destiny. The cells in your body listen. The energy around you arranges. Thought is the bridge between the invisible blueprint and the visible result. But power without awareness becomes chaos. To harness thought, you must pair it with emotion, not desperate emotion, but the feeling of already having what you seek. Feeling gives thought density. It imprints the vibration into the field. That is why faith works. It is sustained thought wrapped in emotion. Start small. Choose one thought to hold deliberately today, not a wish, but a statement of truth you are ready to embody. I am calm. I am magnetic. I am guided. Whisper it until it feels natural, until your body believes it. The outer world will eventually follow, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. Tonight, as you rest, imagine your mind as a sky filled with constellations of thought. Some stars shine brightly beliefs that empower. Others flicker old fears, still echoing. With each breath, choose which stars remain. The sky obeys your selection. Thought is creation's first spark. Guard it, direct it, bless it. For what you think you become, and what you become, you project into eternity. Chapter 5. The Secret of Inner Silence. In a world addicted to noise, silence has become the rarest form of wealth. We fill every pause with conversation, every gap with sound, every stillness with scrolling, as though silence itself might reveal too much truth. But silence is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the ocean beneath the waves of thought, still vast and infinite. Your mind is a magnificent instrument, yet it was never meant to play without rest. When it spins endlessly, planning, analyzing, comparing, it becomes like static that drowns out the deeper signal of your being. Beneath that static, a voice waits, not the voice of anxiety, not even the voice of reason, but the quiet intelligence of your soul. Inner silence is how you hear it. In silence, thought slows, awareness expands. The edges of identity soften. The boundaries between you and the world blur until they disappear. You begin to sense that the same stillness breathing through trees, oceans, and stars is breathing through you. That realization is not mystical. It is remembrance. Silence reconnects you with the field of life that has always been speaking, but only whispers to those who listen. Think of silence as a frequency, not an absence. The same way white light contains all colors, true silence contains all sound. It hums softly behind every vibration, anchoring the universe in harmony. When you sit quietly, close your eyes, and simply be, you tune in to that universal hum. Your nervous system resets, your cells reorganize, thought and breath realign with the rhythm of creation. The greatest discoveries are not made through noise, but through stillness. The scientist's breakthrough, the artist's inspiration, the mystic's revelation all arise from moments when the mind grows quiet enough for truth to surface. Silence is the womb of clarity. Within it, ideas form fully formed like stars emerging from darkness. But silence is not always comfortable. At first, it confronts you with the very thoughts you've been avoiding. The mind resists replaying worries and regrets. This is natural. You are witnessing the storm that silence reveals, not creates. If you stay, the waves calm. Beneath them lies peace, so deep, it needs no proof. You do not have to meditate perfectly or empty your thoughts entirely. Simply pause. Breathe slowly. Notice the spaces between your breaths. Those spaces are sacred. They are the gateways where infinite consciousness meets finite form. The more you rest there, the more you remember who you are beyond your story. As you listen now, let each word dissolve into quiet. Feel the stillness behind the sound. Sense the invisible presence that holds every vibration together. That presence is what the mystics called God, what physicists call the quantum field, what poets call love. In silence, there is no past to regret, no future to chase. Only awareness, vast and luminous. When you dwell there, fear loses meaning, because silence reveals that there was never anything to lose. You are already the ocean. The waves were only movement upon your surface. So tonight, let silence be your teacher. Do not seek answers. Simply allow the space where answers arise. For in that space you will hear what eternity has been whispering since the beginning. You are not separate. You are not small. You are not missing anything. You are the stillness beneath all sound. And once you remember that even in the noise of the world, you will never truly leave the silence again. Chapter 6. The Law of Polarity. Light and shadow. Joy and sorrow. Gain and loss. Everything in existence breathes through polarity. This is the heartbeat of the universe: expansion and contraction, day and night, inhale and exhale. Opposites are not enemies. They are complements, two ends of the same thread. Without contrast, there is no form. Without darkness, light could not be known. We are taught to chase one side and flee the other, to want joy, but not pain, success, but not failure, love, but not loss. Yet the deeper truth is that every pole defines its counterpart. The pendulum cannot swing toward one extreme without passing through the other. Life, in its infinite wisdom, uses polarity to create motion. Stillness is found not in resisting one side, but in recognizing both as parts of the same dance. Imagine a coin: one face shines with triumph, the other carries lesson. To reject one side is to reject the whole coin. When you embrace both, you step into wholeness. Polarity teaches integration, the art of standing in the center where all opposites meet. From that center you see that every so-called negative is only the seed of its opposite waiting to unfold. This law operates in every realm. Emotionally, heartbreak deepens your capacity for love. Intellectually, confusion precedes understanding. Spiritually, darkness precedes revelation. The caterpillar dissolves into chaos before becoming the butterfly. There is no rebirth without disintegration, no awakening without sleep. When you resist one pole, you empower it. What you suppress grows in the shadows, feeding on your fear. But when you turn toward it with awareness, it loses its grip. You realize the cold of winter is not punishment, but preparation, a sacred pause before spring. The universe never withholds warmth. It teaches endurance so that warmth may be appreciated. To live in harmony with the law of polarity, stop labeling experiences as good or bad. Instead, ask, what is this moment balancing within me? If you are in sorrow, know that joy is already forming on the other side of the arc. If you are in expansion, honor contraction when it comes. It restores rhythm. The wise do not cling to either, they flow between them with grace. The magnet is whole because it contains both poles. So are you. Within your light lives your shadow. Within your shadow hides your strength. Integration is not perfection. It is honesty. It is the courage to say, I am both fire and ash, both storm and calm. In that acceptance, conflict dissolves. The heart knows this truth intuitively. It breaks and heals contracts and expands each beat, an offering to duality. Your breath does the same. One draws, in one releases. You are polarity, embodied, a living bridge between spirit and matter. Tonight, as you rest, visualize yourself standing at the midpoint of a golden scale. On one side lies darkness, on the other light. As you breathe, both sway gently until they balance in perfect harmony. Feel peace not from choosing one, but from understanding both. For the law of polarity is not a punishment, it is the rhythm of creation. And once you learn to move with that rhythm, every shadow becomes a doorway to light. Chapter 7. The Hidden Currents of Time. Time is not the straight line you were taught to believe in. It is a spiral, looping, echoing, folding back on itself, in patterns invisible to the waking eye. Every moment carries the imprint of the past, and the potential of the future converging in the now. You are not moving through time. Time is moving through you. The seconds on your clock are illusions of rhythm designed for the physical mind. But in the deeper architecture of existence, time behaves more like water. It bends around emotion, pools around meaning, and rushes faster, where consciousness flows freely. That is why moments of awe feel timeless, and moments of suffering stretch endlessly. The measure of time is not distance, it is attention. Look closely at your life, and you will see evidence of the spiral. Lessons repeat, faces return, situations reappear, wearing new masks. You call it coincidence or bad luck, but in truth, it is the universe looping a thread you left untied. Time is not punishing you. It is patient. It continues the lesson until the vibration is complete. The past does not vanish, it vibrates. Every unresolved emotion, every unlearned truth, remains active in the field until acknowledged. This is why you meet the same type of person in different bodies, or why familiar struggles resurface after years. The spiral brings you back, not to trap you, but to offer another chance for mastery. Once you meet a pattern with awareness, instead of resistance, it dissolves. The spiral rises, and you ascend to the next turn. Memory is not just a record, it is a doorway. When you revisit it with consciousness, you change it. Neuroscience confirms what mystics have always known. Every time you recall an event, you rewrite it slightly. You can free the past by perceiving it differently. You can send forgiveness backward and alter the present. Time in its essence is pliable to perception. The same is true for the future. You are not moving toward a fixed destiny, but toward probabilities. Your present vibration determines which version of the future you align with. Each thought, each choice, tilts the spiral slightly, redirecting your trajectory. Fate is not rigid, it is responsive. To work with time, you must step outside it. That happens when you become deeply present. In presence, the spiral stops turning long enough for you to glimpse all its layers at once, past, present, and potential, merging into one awareness. This is why spiritual awakening often feels like déjà vu. You are remembering what your higher self already saw from above the spiral. You cannot outrun time, but you can dance with it. When you rush, time rushes. When you pause, it stretches. When you act from alignment, timing becomes divine. The right people, opportunities, and signs arrive with precision that logic cannot explain. You are not late. You are not early. You are always exactly where your vibration places you. Tonight, as you rest, imagine the timeline of your life as a luminous spiral, coiling gently upward through the stars. With each breath, release the weight of the past that tugs you downward. With each exhale, let go of the fear that races you toward the future. You are the center of the spiral, calm, timeless, eternal. In that still center, there is no hurry, no delay, no age, only the unfolding of awareness. For time is not your enemy. It is your reflection in motion. And once you remember this, you no longer chase the future, you magnetize it. Chapter 9. The Power of Vibration. Everything vibrates. Every atom, every cell, every thought hums at its own frequency, composing the grand symphony of existence. To the eyes, the world seems solid and still, but beneath perception all is motion, endless, radiant motion. Matter is only condensed vibration light, slowed down enough to be touched. Your body is vibration. Your emotions are vibration. Even your silence vibrates. Every heartbeat sends waves through the quantum field, rippling far beyond the limits of flesh. You are both instrument and player, tuning yourself constantly through thought, belief, and emotion. When your vibration shifts, the entire song of your life changes key. This is not poetry, it is physics. Quantum science tells us that particles respond to observation, that frequency determines form. Ancient mystics called it the law of resonance, like attracts like. You can only experience the realities that vibrate in harmony with your inner frequency. That is why worry calls more worry, and gratitude calls more grace. Imagine yourself as a radio tower, broadcasting energy into the universe. Each thought is a signal, each emotion an amplifier. The field around you rearranges according to what you transmit. You cannot fool it with words. It listens only to vibration. You may say, "I am fine," yet the universe responds to the ache you carry beneath the phrase. It mirrors not what you declare, but what you truly feel. When your vibration is high, filled with love, clarity, purpose, you feel light, magnetic, alive. People are drawn to you without knowing why. Doors open before you knock. Time bends in your favor. High vibration does not mean constant happiness. It means alignment. It is the state where inner and outer move in harmony, where energy flows freely without resistance. When your vibration lowers, clouded by fear, resentment, or guilt, you feel heavy, slow, disconnected. It is not punishment, it is feedback. Low vibration simply means the current is blocked. The remedy is not to fight the feeling, but to release it. Energy moves when acknowledged. Suppressed emotion festers. Expressed emotion transforms. Sound is one of the purest ways to shift vibration. That is why chanting, humming, or even listening to sacred music can cleanse the field. Breath, too, is vibration, the rhythmic wave that carries life itself. Conscious breathing recalibrates frequency instantly. Gratitude, laughter, and acts of kindness also raise vibration because they align you with expansion rather than contraction. Remember, vibration precedes manifestation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. When you elevate your inner tone, you change the outer echo. The higher your frequency, the clearer your reality becomes, like tuning a radio from static to song. The earth itself vibrates, and you are synchronized with her rhythm. Nature heals because it vibrates purely. The ocean, the forest, the rain all hum at frequencies that remind your body of balance. That is why stillness in nature restores your peace. You return to the original note of creation. Tonight, as you lie still, imagine yourself as pure sound, a tone rising gently through the darkness. With each breath, let that tone become brighter, clearer, lighter. Feel it dissolve, tension in your chest, dissolve worry from your mind. You are tuning yourself to the frequency of truth. Vibration is the language of the universe, and you are its living syllable. Speak not through words, but through energy, and the universe will answer in kind. Chapter 11. The Shadow of Desire. Desire is sacred fire. It is the spark that moves galaxies, the pulse that births creation. Without it, nothing would exist. Every dream, every invention, every heartbeat began as desire, the longing of the infinite to know itself through form. Yet the same fire that illuminates can also consume. When misunderstood desire becomes shadow, the shadow of desire appears when longing turns into grasping, when what you seek becomes an idol instead of an invitation. You start chasing fulfillment outside yourself, believing that love, success, or recognition will complete you. But anything you pursue from emptiness multiplies that emptiness. It's not that the universe denies your request. It simply mirrors the frequency of lack that fuels it. True desire does not beg. It breathes. It does not cling. It calls. It arises not from deficiency, but from remembrance, the soul's intuition of what it is ready to express next. You do not desire something because it will make you whole. You desire it because it reflects your wholeness, trying to emerge into form. When desire becomes shadow, it enslaves. You chase endlessly, never satisfied, always waiting for the next thing to make you feel enough. This is the hunger of the ego, which confuses accumulation with expansion. But the soul's desires are quieter. They unfold like petals opening to sunlight. They don't demand, they attract. They don't consume, they create. The ancients called this balance sacred eros, the divine impulse that fuels growth without distortion. In Eastern philosophy, it is known as tanha and chanda, craving that binds and aspiration that liberates. The difference lies not in the object, but in the state of consciousness pursuing it. To master desire, you must face its shadow with honesty. Ask yourself, why do I want this? If the answer comes from fear, comparison, or insecurity, the fire will burn you. But if the answer arises from joy, curiosity, or alignment, the fire will refine you. One destroys, the other transforms. Shadow desire is a plea for validation. True desire is an expression of creation. The first says, "Give this to me so I can be enough." The second says, "Let this flow through me, because I already am enough." When you align with true desire, the universe conspires with you. Opportunities appear effortlessly, because you are not chasing energy, you are channeling it. You become a conduit through which the source experiences itself. Desire fulfilled in this way leaves peace in its wake, not addiction. But when the shadow leads fulfillment, feels hollow. You may reach the goal, yet remain restless. That restlessness is the soul whispering, "This was never the destination." Shadow desire seeks possession. True desire seeks participation, a dance between human will and divine timing. So tonight, as you rest, bring to mind one of your deepest desires. Hold it gently in your heart without clinging. Breathe into it as though feeding a flame, not with hunger, but with reverence. Whisper, "If this aligns with my highest truth, let it unfold with grace." Then release it. Watch the fire glow quietly instead of raging. For when desire serves the soul, it becomes devotion. And devotion never burns out, it becomes light. Chapter 12. The Hidden Law of Exchange. The universe is an endless circulation of giving and receiving. Energy must move, that is its nature. When it stops moving, it decays. When it flows, it thrives. This is the hidden law of exchange, the rhythm through which life sustains itself. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every relationship, every transaction obeys this sacred law. Inhale, exhale, give, receive, expand, contract. Everything dances in this polarity, even the galaxies. Stars give light, space receives it. Oceans rise and fall. Trees take in carbon dioxide and offer oxygen in return. Life depends on exchange because balance is its highest expression of harmony. Humans forget this truth when fear enters. Fear hoards. It clings to what it has, believing that giving means losing. But in a universe built on circulation, what you withhold becomes stagnant energy. Hoarded love turns to loneliness. Hoarded money turns to scarcity. Hoarded knowledge turns to irrelevance. The more tightly you close your hand, the less life can place within it. The wise give not because they have abundance, but because giving creates abundance. Energy expands through motion. What you send out multiplies by the law of resonance and returns through unexpected channels. This is why generosity never impoverishes. It opens the current. Even gratitude is a form of giving you return acknowledgement to the source, completing the circuit that supplied you. But exchange is not just about money or things. It is about energy in every form: attention, time, kindness, creativity. Every interaction is a trade of vibration. You can feel it when you speak with someone who drains you. They are taking without giving. When you connect with someone who uplifts you, both sides rise. Conscious exchange elevates both giver and receiver because the current remains pure. Still giving without boundaries violates the law as much as withholding does. Overgiving from guilt or the need for approval disrupts flow. It empties the well. The universe does not ask for self-sacrifice. It asks for self-awareness. True giving arises from overflow, not depletion. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. Fill yourself first, then share the surplus with grace. Likewise, receiving is an art many have forgotten. To receive without guilt is to honor the giver and the universe that sent the gift. Resistance to receiving often hides unworthiness, the belief that one must struggle to deserve good. But worthiness is not earned, it is inherent. The law of exchange functions best when both sides allow flow without shame or pride. Think of your life as a circle of light. Every time you give freely, the circle widens. Every time you receive openly, it strengthens. Together, these motions generate abundance, not just material, but spiritual. When you align with this rhythm, even small acts ripple widely. A kind word can travel across timelines. A moment of generosity can alter destinies. Tonight, as you breathe, imagine each inhale, drawing in the universe's gifts, and each exhale releasing gratitude back into it. See light moving in and out of you like tides, effortless, endless. You are not separate from the flow. You are the flow. To give is divine. To receive is divine. And balance between them is the music that keeps the stars alive. Chapter 13. The Guardians of Knowledge. Not all knowledge is meant to be taken, some must be earned. There are truths so potent that they reveal themselves only to those whose hearts are ready to hold them. Since the beginning of time, wisdom has been protected by what the ancients called the guardians, not physical beings in robes of mystery, but living frequencies of discernment woven into the fabric of consciousness itself. Every sacred tradition spoke of them in its own language. The Egyptians told of Thoth, the scribe of the gods who guarded the tablets of eternal wisdom. The Greeks spoke of the oracle who veiled truth in riddle, so that only the wise could hear it. The Buddhists call them Dharmapalas, protectors of truth, ensuring that knowledge is used in harmony with compassion. Each myth points to the same reality. Wisdom has its gatekeepers, and the key is not intellect, but purity. The guardians are not external judges. They exist within you in the vibration of your intent. When you seek truth to dominate, to impress, or to escape responsibility, the door remains closed. But when you seek truth to evolve, to serve, to remember who you are, the gates open silently. This is why the same book can be read by two people. One finds words, the other finds revelation. The difference lies in readiness. Knowledge without consciousness is danger. It becomes manipulation, ego illusion. That is why ancient schools of mystery trained the initiate not only in mind, but in heart. Before learning to command energy, one had to master humility. Before receiving sacred symbols, One had to prove integrity. The guardians test not your cleverness, but your vibration. You may have already met them disguised as obstacles, delays, or detours. Each time you are forced to wait to surrender, to release attachment, you are being refined. These are initiations in disguise. When your motives purify, resistance dissolves. The lesson ends, and the door opens quietly without announcement. In this age of endless information, the guardians still operate. The internet gives data, but not wisdom. You can know everything and understand nothing. True wisdom requires silence, discernment, and humility, a willingness to be transformed by what you learn. The guardians ensure that truth reveals itself only in proportion to your capacity to embody it. If you wish for higher knowledge, prepare the vessel. Purify thought, align intent, anchor integrity. Then knowledge becomes not a weight, but a light, not something to own, but something to radiate. There is no higher initiation than self-honesty. When you can face your motives without judgment, the guardians bow and step aside. For truth in its highest form does not hide, it simply waits for resonance. Tonight as you rest, imagine yourself before a great temple door, carved from starlight. Two silent beings stand guard, not with swords, but with presence. They do not block you, they mirror you. As your heart steadies, the doors open effortlessly, revealing not scrolls or secrets, but a mirror reflecting your own awakened face. For the final guardian of knowledge is you, and when you remember that no gate can ever be closed again. Chapter 14. The Forgotten Temple Within. You have searched for the sacred in temples, in books, in mountains, in stars. You have knelt before altars made of stone and whispered prayers into the wind. But the true temple, the one that never ages, never crumbles, never closes lives within you. It is not built by human hands. It is shaped by awareness itself. Your body is that temple. Every breath is incense, every heartbeat a drum echoing in its halls. The mind is its sanctuary, the heart its altar. When you enter it consciously, you meet the divine, not as something distant, but as the very essence pulsing through your veins. The ancients knew this. Across cultures and continents they left clues. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Atman is Brahman. Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art that. All point to one. Truth. Divinity is not above, but within. You are not a visitor in creation. You are creation experiencing itself through human form. But over time, you were taught to look outward. You learned to seek authority to measure holiness in others, to doubt your own light. Religion became hierarchy instead of remembrance. The temple within grew silent, buried beneath noise and obligation. Yet even when forgotten, it never abandoned you. Its doors never closed, only your attention wandered. To return is simple, not easy, but simple. Sit still. Close your eyes. Feel the quiet pulse beneath your ribs. That rhythm is older than time. It is the same pulse that moves planets and tides, the same current that once whispered galaxies into being. When you listen deeply enough, you will hear the echo of the source, speaking your name from inside your chest. Entering the inner temple requires reverence, not ritual, but presence. Presence sanctifies every act. Washing your hands becomes purification. Eating becomes communion. Breathing becomes prayer. The ordinary becomes holy the moment you remember what is watching through your eyes. The temple is not free from shadow. It includes it. Within its walls live joy and sorrow, peace and chaos, the entire spectrum of being. Do not exile any part of yourself in pursuit of purity. Wholeness is holiness. Light without shadow cannot exist. When you embrace both, the sacred fires within you burn steady instead of fierce. Your body, too, is sacred ground. It is not merely a vessel to endure, but a sanctuary to inhabit. Every cell listens to your thoughts, responds to your love or neglect. Treat it as you would treat the altar of a deity, with care, gratitude, and awe. When you honor your physical form, you anchor spirit into matter. Heaven meets earth in the miracle of your skin. There is no need for grand ceremonies. The simplest acts, done with awareness, awaken the temple's light. A deep breath, a kind word, a moment of stillness. These are hymns sung silently to the divine within. The more you remember this, the more radiant your presence becomes. People will feel peace near you without knowing why. It is the resonance of someone who has come home. Tonight, as you rest, place your hand over your heart. Feel its warmth. Feel the pulse beneath. Whisper inwardly, I remember. You are not entering the temple. You are realizing you have never left it. Chapter 15. The power of attention. Where your attention goes, life grows. Attention is not just focus. It is the purest currency of creation. Every thought you nourish with attention becomes form. Every idea you neglect fades into the background of possibility. Attention is the sculptor's hand shaping the clay of existence. You are sculpting always, whether consciously or unconsciously. Energy follows attention. It does not ask if the object of focus is wanted or unwanted. It only amplifies it. When you dwell on fear, fear multiplies. When you feed gratitude, abundance expands. The universe has no moral filter. It mirrors your investment. In this sense, attention is prayer. What you give consistent attention to, you invite into being. Most people scatter their attention like confetti, divided among worries, desires, screens, and noise. They wonder why life feels chaotic, fragmented, uncertain. But it is not life that is fragmented. It is focus. Power comes not from doing more, but from directing energy with precision. Like sunlight through a magnifying glass, focused attention ignites transformation. The mind, untrained, behaves like a restless tide. It moves toward distraction, emotion memory. But the awakened mind learns to observe without being carried away. Every time you bring attention back to your breath, to presence, to gratitude, you reclaim energy once lost to unconscious thought. In truth, attention is love. What you truly love, you attend to. You water it, nourish it, keep it alive. The universe responds to attention. The way a flower responds to sunlight, it opens. When you give full awareness to anything, a task, a person, a moment, you sanctify it. Conscious attention transforms the mundane into the sacred. Even your challenges change when seen through attention instead of avoidance. What you resist persists, but what you witness dissolves. When you look directly at fear, its power weakens. When you fully observe pain, wisdom surfaces beneath it. Attention does not fight darkness. It illuminates it. And light, once present, needs no battle. It simply reveals truth. Every spiritual practice, prayer, meditation, mantra is an exercise in reclaiming attention. You are training the wild horse of the mind to walk beside you instead of dragging you through chaos. The reward is mastery. When your attention is anchored, you no longer react blindly. You respond consciously. You become creator instead of echo. To direct attention wisely, remember this simple principle. Attention expands reality. Detachment refines it. Focus with clarity, but release with trust. Fixation constricts, awareness liberates. The point is not control. It is cooperation with the natural flow of energy. Try this tonight. Close your eyes and bring attention to your breath. Notice its texture cool as it enters, warm as it leaves. Do not force it. Simply watch. Now expand awareness outward to the sounds around you, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the stillness between thoughts. You will feel energy gathering, calm, potent, alive. That is the magnetic power of pure attention. In the end, attention is the alchemy that turns potential into form, chaos into order, time into presence. The more consciously you wield it, the more gracefully life arranges around you. Guard your attention as sacred. Spend it deliberately. For wherever you place it, you plant the seed of your next reality. Chapter 16. The Secret of Dreams. When the body sleeps, the soul remembers. Dreams are not illusions. They are translations, whispers, from the deeper strata of consciousness, where time, logic, and gravity no longer bind you. Each night you travel beyond the limits of the waking world, stepping through veils into dimensions your daylight mind forgets. The ancient mystics called sleep the small death, not an ending, but a return. In dreams you re-enter the field from which you came, visiting the realms that shaped you before you were born. Here symbols replace sentences. Emotion replaces explanation. The soul speaks in image and vibration, not in words. Dreams are not random. They are coded messages. They carry fragments of your memory from parallel lives, echoes of unhealed emotion, glimpses of futures you are magnetizing. They are letters written by your higher self, signed with light, delivered each night to your pillow. But to read them, you must listen with the heart, not the intellect. The mind seeks logic. What does it mean? The soul offers resonance. How does it feel? Interpretation begins not with analysis but with recognition. A dream of falling might mean surrender, not failure. A dream of water may mirror emotion, not danger. Each symbol bends to the dreamer's vibration. There is no universal dictionary, only the inner compass of feeling. Some dreams are healing chambers. You revisit memories to release pain still stored in your energy field. Others are rehearsals, the soul practicing timelines before choosing one to anchor in waking reality. Some are lessons delivered by guides, teachers, ancestors, beings you once knew before this incarnation and will know again beyond it. Have you ever awakened from a dream more tired than before? You were not resting, you were working, healing, integrating, traveling. The subconscious never sleeps. It continues sculpting reality while the conscious mind rests. This is why your first thoughts upon waking matter. They set the frequency of the day, crystallizing the dream's energy into form. In the dream state, time folds. You can meet a loved one who has passed, receive guidance about something not yet occurred, or feel emotions too vast for waking consciousness. None of this is fantasy. Quantum physics hints at this truth. Reality is non-local consciousness entangled across dimensions. Dreaming is the proof your soul travels freely beyond linear bounds. To cultivate communication with your dreams, treat them as sacred. Before sleep, set intention. Tonight I remember what my soul wishes to show me. Keep a journal beside your bed. When you wake, write immediately, even if only fragments remain. Over time, patterns emerge, colors, numbers, archetypes. The more attention you give, the clearer the language becomes. And remember, not every dream demands decoding. Some exist only to cleanse, to balance, to release. Trust that even the forgotten ones leave traces of healing behind. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine stepping into a vast, luminous landscape, a space between worlds, silent yet alive. You are weightless, timeless. Shapes shimmer like memory and dissolve into light. Whisper to yourself, I am safe to remember. For dreams are not escapes from reality. They are reminders of a greater one. And each night, through the secret door of sleep, the universe calls you home, not to forget the day, but to remember eternity. Chapter 17. The Illusion of Separation. From the moment you entered this world, you were taught the word I. I am this body. I am this name. I am separate from you. And from that single illusion, every form of fear was born. But separation is only a trick of perception, a distortion created by the senses, so consciousness could experience itself as many. Beneath the skin, beneath thought, beneath time, there is no division. There is only one ocean, pretending to be countless waves. Look closely at life, and the illusion begins to crack. The air you exhale becomes someone else's breath. The water you drink once flowed through clouds, rivers, and hearts you'll never know. The light in your eyes left a star that burned millions of years ago. You have never been alone. You have only forgotten how entangled you are with everything. Science confirms what mystics have whispered for ages. Everything is connected. Quantum entanglement reveals that two particles once joined remain linked across infinite distance. When one changes, the other responds instantly, as though space itself were an illusion. So it is with souls. You are not a point in the universe. You are the universe expressing itself at a point. Separation was never sin. It was strategy. The one divided itself into many so that love could be experienced, not merely known. Unity in isolation has no mirror. Through you, the infinite gazes at itself from 1,000 eyes. Every encounter is the universe remembering its reflection. When you love another, you are simply recognizing yourself in a different disguise. Fear, envy, judgment, all stem from forgetting this truth. They are symptoms of amnesia. You harm another because you believe they are not you. You compete because you believe there is not enough. You grieve because you think something can truly be lost. Yet nothing real can be taken from you, for all that is real exists in unity. The illusion of separation collapses when presence deepens. In deep meditation, in the stillness of nature, in the eyes of a lover, or the laughter of a child, the veil briefly thins, and for an instant you remember. You feel the pulse that connects everything, a single heartbeat echoing through all existence. In that moment, compassion is no longer a virtue. It is inevitability. You do not need to destroy the ego to return to oneness. The ego is a lens, narrow but necessary, through which consciousness can focus experience. The goal is not to erase individuality, but to see through it. You are the wave and the ocean, the note and the song. The paradox is harmony, not conflict. When you live from this knowing, everything softens. Forgiveness becomes effortless. Generosity, natural peace, unshakable. You realize that the pain of others is not distant. It vibrates within you. To heal the world, you begin by healing the illusion that you are apart from it. Tonight, as you breathe, imagine the boundary of your body dissolving. Feel yourself expand first into the room, then into the city, then into the sky. Sense your awareness merging with the trees, the oceans, the stars. Every sound is your voice, every light your reflection. The universe inhales, and you are that breath. You were never separate. You were never small. You are the infinite remembering itself in human form. Chapter 18. The river of synchronicity. There are no accidents. There is only orchestration, a cosmic choreography so intricate that the mind cannot grasp it, yet the heart recognizes it instantly. This harmony is called synchronicity, the mysterious alignment of event signs and symbols that seem to defy logic but fit together with exquisite precision. Synchronicity is the universe speaking in real time. It is not coincidence, it is correspondence. Every time your inner world changes, the outer world adjusts its rhythm to match it. The right person calls, the book appears, the phrase you needed to hear echoes from a stranger's mouth. It feels like magic because it is the magic of resonance made visible. When you are aligned, synchronicities multiply. They are confirmations that you are moving with the current instead of against it. The more you trust, the smoother the river becomes. But when you resist, when you doubt or overthink, the flow tangles, not because life turns against you, but because your vibration no longer matches the current's frequency. Think of existence as a vast river of energy flowing toward expansion. You are not a separate swimmer. You are a drop within the current. When you release control, you glide effortlessly. When you try to force direction, you create turbulence. Synchronicity is the ripple effect of surrender, the proof that the universe knows the way better than your plans ever could. The ego demands evidence. The soul speaks through pattern. The more awake you become, the subtler the signs. Early in the journey, synchronicity shouts dramatic coincidences, repeating numbers, unmistakable encounters. As awareness deepens, the guidance becomes whisper soft, a quiet nudge, an inner yes, a knowing without reason. To hear it, you must stay still enough to listen. The language of synchronicity is frequency. It does not use words but timing. Two notes played together in harmony resonate. Two frequencies that match meet in experience. That is why when you shift your internal energy, new people and opportunities appear. You did not manifest them by force. You met them by resonance. The universe does not withhold. It waits for coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with your deeper truth, the external world cannot help but mirror it. To live through synchronicity is to trust flow over control. It is to replace. How will it happen with? Show me the next step. The river never reveals the entire journey, only the next curve. But if you follow each nudge with faith, you eventually look back and see the perfect pattern, a mosaic too vast to design, yet too precise to doubt. Even delays and detours are part of the orchestration. The missed flight that leads to the chance meeting, the rejection that redirects you to your purpose, the heartbreak that opens your art. Life never wastes a movement. Every turn is choreography. To cultivate synchronicity, begin by noticing it. Keep a record of repeating symbols, numbers, or themes. Gratitude amplifies them. Acknowledgement is the signal that tells the universe, I'm listening. Soon the signs grow louder, clearer, undeniable. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, imagine yourself floating on a luminous river. Stars reflect upon the surface like golden breadcrumbs, leading you forward. You do not row. You trust the current. Every bend, every shimmer, every pause, perfect. Whisper to the water, I am guided. I am aligned. I flow where I am meant to go. For the river of synchronicity does not lead you somewhere else. It leads you back to yourself, the part of you that has always known the way. Chapter 19. The Hidden Law of Resonance. Everything in existence vibrates, and vibration creates resonance. Resonance is the invisible magnetism that draws similar frequencies together, not through effort, but through alignment. You do not chase what is yours. You resonate with it. You do not repel what is not yours. You simply rise beyond its frequency. This is the hidden law of resonance: quiet, exact, and absolute. The universe is an orchestra of frequencies. Every emotion, thought, and belief is a note you emit into the field. The world responds like an echo chamber, sending back matching tones. Love meets love. Fear meets fear. Clarity meets opportunity. Confusion meets delay. It is not punishment, it is physics. You are not rewarded or judged. You are mirrored. This law explains why external change begins internally. You cannot attract peace while vibrating in chaos, nor can you magnetize abundance while anchored in lack. Even if fortune arrives, it will slip away until the inner tone matches its harmony. The frequency you hold determines not only what you draw in, but what stays. Resonance is not about pretending to feel good. The universe cannot be fooled by performance. It listens to your true vibration, not your mask. You can say, "I'm fine," 1,000 times, but if your body hums with anxiety, life will echo that hum until you face it. Honesty is tuning. When you admit what you feel without judgment, you begin to recalibrate. Think of yourself as an instrument. Each cell, each thought, each breath contributes to your overall tone. When one string goes out of tune, fear, guilt, resentment, the entire melody distorts. Healing is the act of retuning. Meditation, gratitude, self-awareness, and rest are not luxuries. They are tuning forks, restoring harmony between your inner vibration and the universal field. This is why forcing manifestation never works. Force comes from mismatch, from trying to drag reality into your rhythm instead of harmonizing with its song. True creation happens when you become the frequency of what you desire. You don't beg for love, you become love. You don't chase success, you embody purpose. Once resonance is achieved, attraction is automatic. Resonance also explains why relationships shift as you evolve. When your frequency rises, some connections naturally fade. Do not mourn this. It is natural dissonance resolving itself. The song of your life is changing key, and only those who can harmonize with your new tone will remain. Bless those who drift away. They were notes essential to an earlier verse. To consciously align with resonance, observe what feels heavy versus what feels alive. The body is an exquisite compass. Expansion signals alignment. Constriction signals resistance. Follow what expands. Release what contracts. The universe speaks through feeling before it ever speaks through form. Gratitude is the quickest way to elevate resonance. It lifts your vibration from scarcity to sufficiency, from striving to allowing. Silence also refines resonance in stillness. You hear the subtle dissonance and can adjust before it manifests outwardly. Tonight, as you breathe, imagine your entire being as a glowing instrument suspended in the cosmos. With each inhale, divine light flows through you, tightening every string, clearing every distortion. With each exhale, tension melts away. Slowly, your tone becomes pure, steady, luminous, a perfect match to the symphony of creation. The law of resonance asks for nothing and gives everything. Align and the universe harmonizes around you, for what you are is always louder than what you say. Chapter 20. The Fire of Transformation. Nothing evolves without fire. Not the stars, not the forests, not the soul. Fire is both destroyer and creator, the sacred purifier through which all things shed what they are not to reveal what they truly are. Transformation never happens in comfort. It happens in heat, the pressure that forces hidden gold to surface. When life burns away your illusions, it is not cruelty, it is initiation. The universe refines through friction, pain loss, uncertainty. These are not punishments but alchemical flames. They melt away the false, revealing the essence beneath. Just as metal must face the forge before it can shine, consciousness must face challenge before it can awaken. You may fear the fire because you believe it destroys. But look closer, the seed must break to sprout. The night must end for dawn to rise. The old self dissolves so that a truer one may emerge. Transformation is not comfortable because it asks for surrender, to let go of identities, beliefs, and attachments that once defined you. The ego calls it death. The soul calls it rebirth. There is a rhythm to all burning. First comes resistance, the clinging to what was. Then comes collapse, the recognition that holding on hurts more than letting go. Finally comes release, the moment you stop fighting the flame and realize it was never here to harm you. The moment you yield, pain becomes light. Every challenge in your life is a personal fire. It may arrive as heartbreak, illness, failure, or uncertainty. Yet behind its harshness lies precision. The fire knows exactly what to burn and what to spare. It does not destroy what is essential. It refines it. The aspects of you that survive the flame are the ones made of truth. In ancient rites of passage, initiates walked through literal fire to symbolize this purification. Today, your fires are emotional and spiritual. The difficult conversations, the endings you didn't choose, the moments when everything familiar dissolves. Each is an invitation to trust the alchemy. If you resist, the flame feels cruel. If you surrender, it becomes warmth, illumination, clarity. Transformation is not about becoming something new. It is about remembering what you have always been, beneath the ash. The fire doesn't add, it subtracts. It burns away pretense until only essence remains. When you find yourself in the fire, do not rush to escape. Breathe. Ask, what is being refined in me right now? Then listen. The lesson will reveal itself, not in words, but in the quiet knowing that arises after the storm. On the other side of surrender, the air feels cleaner, lighter, as if you have stepped into a wider version of yourself. Know this, after every burning comes blooming. The forest that turns to ash gives birth to fertile soil. The heart that breaks learns how to hold more light. The world that crumbles makes space for the next creation. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine a gentle flame glowing at the center of your chest. With each breath, it brightens, not burning, but cleansing. It dissolves the weight of old stories, fears, and identities. In its warmth, you remember you are not the ashes. You are the fire itself, eternal, transformative, and indestructible. Let the fire do its sacred work, for only through burning does light learn how to shine. Chapter 21. The Forgotten Power of Breath. Before there was thought, there was breath. Before the first word, the first heartbeat, the first light, there was the silent rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. Breath is the bridge between body and spirit, between the visible and the invisible. It is the first thing you receive when entering this world, and the last thing you release when you leave. Everything that happens between those two moments is shaped by how consciously you breathe. You rarely notice it, yet breath governs every layer of your being. When the mind races, the breath shortens. When the heart softens, the breath deepens. Breath is the mirror of your state of consciousness, but it is also the key to transforming it. Every spiritual tradition has placed breath at the center of awakening. In yoga, it is prana, the vital life force that animates all existence. In Chinese philosophy, it is qi, the energy that flows through the meridians of the body and the cosmos. In Hebrew, Ruach means both spirit and breath. The ancients understood what modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Breath is not mere oxygen. It is information, a carrier of frequency that reprograms the nervous system, the mind, and the soul. When you breathe consciously, you reclaim the steering wheel of your inner world. You signal to the body that it is safe, dissolving the grip of fear. You slow the rhythm of thought, making space for intuition. You oxygenate the cells, ignite vitality, and awaken dormant energy coiled at the base of the spine. Breath opens channels that words cannot. There are breaths that heal, and there are breaths that awaken. A deep belly breath roots you into presence, drawing energy downward, grounding you in the now. A long exhale releases tension, letting go of what no longer serves. Rhythmic breathing balances hemispheres of the brain, aligning logic and intuition. Even a single conscious breath can change the course of a moment, interrupting chaos with clarity. Observe a child or an animal. Their breath is natural, full, unforced. Then watch the average adult, shallow, restrained, disconnected. We trade vitality for control, forgetting that control suffocates life. To breathe freely is to live freely. Breath is also prayer, without words. When you inhale, you receive. When you exhale, you give. Every cycle is a silent act of devotion, a reminder that life moves through you, not for you to possess, but to participate in. Even the universe breathes, galaxies expanding and contracting in cosmic rhythm, mirroring the rise and fall of your chest. You are the microcosm of that vast respiration. Try this now. Close your eyes and place a hand over your heart. Inhale through the nose, slowly counting to 4. Feel the breath descend deep into your belly. Hold for a moment, then exhale gently through the mouth, releasing the noise of the day. Repeat 3 times. Notice how your awareness widens, how thoughts lose their urgency. You have just returned home, not to a place, but to presence. When anxiety strikes, do not rush to fix the world outside. Return to the breath. It is the eternal reset, the doorway through which peace enters. The more consciously you breathe, the more clearly you perceive. The mind clears, the body heals, and the soul remembers. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, listen to your breath as if it were ocean waves rolling upon the shore. Inhale, the tide comes in, bringing renewal. Exhale, the tide recedes, taking your worries with it. Between the two lies stillness, the silent space where the divine resides. You are breathed by something greater than yourself. Trust it. Follow it. Become it. For breath is not just the rhythm of life, it is life remembering itself through you. Chapter 22. The magnetic field of the heart. Beneath the noise of thought and the tension of will, the heart beats with a wisdom older than the mind. It is not just a physical pump, it is an electromagnetic sun, radiating information through every cell of your being. Science now confirms what mystics have always felt. The heart generates the strongest magnetic field in the human body, thousands of times more powerful than that of the brain. This field is not confined to your chest. It extends several meters beyond you, constantly communicating with the energy fields of others and the world itself. It is through this magnetic field that empathy, intuition, and connection arise. You do not think love, you emit it. You do not reason compassion, you radiate it. The heart is your true transmitter, the bridge between form and frequency. When the heart is open, its rhythm synchronizes the entire body. Brain waves harmonize cells, regenerate, intuition sharpens. You enter coherence, a state where emotion, thought, and breath move in unison. In this coherence, life flows differently. You meet the right people, sense answers before asking, and feel guided by an invisible intelligence that requires no explanation. But when the heart is closed, bruised by betrayal, hardened by fear, the field weakens. Energy contracts. You become disconnected not only from others, but from your own flow. The mind grows loud, the body tense, the world harsh. Closing the heart may feel like protection, but it is isolation. The shield that blocks pain also blocks joy. Opening the heart is not sentimental, it is scientific. It changes your vibration, your chemistry, your perception of reality itself. Love is not merely emotion, it is electromagnetic order. When you feel genuine love, your body becomes a tuning fork, aligned with the frequency of creation. The entire universe vibrates in resonance with that tone. This is why miracles cluster around those who love without agenda. Their frequency reorganizes chaos into harmony. A heart in coherence becomes an organizing force. It restores balance wherever it beats. The greatest healers are not those with secret techniques, but those whose hearts remain wide open in the presence of pain. To live from the heart, you must first listen to it. It does not speak in words but in sensations, expansion for truth, contraction for misalignment. The mind argues, the heart simply knows. When you follow that knowing even without logic, life unfolds with precision. The heart's guidance may not lead to comfort, but it always leads to growth. Forgiveness is one of the heart's highest frequencies. When you forgive, you release static from your magnetic field. The energy that once bound you to the past becomes fuel for creation. Gratitude amplifies that power. Each time you give thanks, your field brightens. That is why consistent gratitude often precedes synchronicity. The universe hears a coherent signal. Try this. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe slowly, as if the air itself enters through your chest. With each inhale, imagine golden light expanding from your heart outward. With each exhale, let it fill the room, then the city, then the world. As you do this, your frequency rises not through effort, but remembrance. Your heart is not merely an organ. It is a compass pointing toward unity. When you live through it, separation dissolves. Fear loses volume and purpose becomes clear. Tonight, as you rest, listen for the soft rhythm inside you, steady, eternal, patient. That is the sound of the universe pulsing through your being. It beats the same rhythm in every living thing. You are not just alive, you are life, remembering its own heartbeat. And that rhythm, when felt deeply, can move mountains without a single word. Chapter 23. The Shadow of Fear. Fear is the oldest shadow, ancient, intimate, and persuasive. It wears many masks: anxiety, doubt, hesitation, anger, control. But beneath every disguise, its message is the same. You are not safe. And yet, paradoxically, fear has never protected you. It has only caged you inside illusions that were never truly real. Fear exists to alert, not to rule. It is a primal messenger, designed to preserve life, the whisper that keeps you from walking off the edge of a cliff or touching the flame. But when awareness sleeps, fear mutates into tyranny. It stops guarding you and starts governing you. It becomes the architect of limitation, building invisible walls around infinite potential. Every fear traces back to one root, the illusion of separation. You believe you are alone, cut off from the source, from safety, from flow. You fear loss because you have forgotten that nothing real can be lost. You fear failure because you think worth must be earned. You fear death because you cannot remember that you have never truly died. All fear is amnesia, forgetting your own eternity. The mind sustains fear through projection. It invents stories about what might happen, replaying echoes of the past into the future. But fear can only exist in time. It cannot live in the present moment, because presence dissolves illusion. Try it now. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and feel this instant fully. No threat lives here, only awareness. Fear starves when you feed it no attention. You cannot destroy fear through force because fighting it strengthens it. Whatever you resist, you energize. The way through fear is not battle, but illumination. You must meet it with curiosity, even tenderness. Ask it, what are you trying to protect? Listen closely. You will often find that fear guards a wound, longing for love. It is not your enemy, but a guardian, grown weary of its task. When acknowledged with compassion, fear softens. Transformation begins the moment you stop running. Stand still within the trembling and watch it lose its edges. You will feel it shrink, then dissolve into light. What remains is freedom, not the absence of fear, but mastery over its influence. Courage is not the lack of fear. It is love's decision to move anyway. Every hero's journey begins with descent, a step into darkness, where fear waits like a dragon at the gate. But that dragon guards treasure awareness, strength, self-trust. When you face it, you discover that the monster was only a shadow cast by your own light. The moment you embrace it, fear transforms into power, raw, focused, unstoppable. Remember this, your nervous system listens to your perception, not reality. When you breathe deeply and anchor in presence, your body receives the message, I am safe. The chemistry of fear dissolves, clarity returns. Breath is the sword that parts illusion. Tonight, as you lie in the quiet, imagine every fear you've carried, large or small, appearing as dark shapes before you. Instead of pushing them away, open your heart. Let golden light pour from your chest toward them. Watch as they tremble, then melt. They were never enemies, only unintegrated fragments of you waiting to be seen. Fear is not darkness, it is the doorway through it. And once you walk through, you realize there was never a monster, only a misunderstood guardian, guiding you back to your own strength. Chapter 24. The Code of Numbers. Numbers are not inventions of the human mind. They are the architecture of the universe. They are the silent rhythm through which creation measures itself, the sacred code underlying every breath, atom, and star. Long before mathematics became a science, it was a language of spirit, a means to read the invisible blueprint of reality. From the spiral of galaxies to the pattern of seashells, from the rhythm of your heartbeat to the growth of a leaf number's whisper order into the seeming chaos. The universe is not random. It is precise. The ancient Pythagoreans taught that all is number. Mystics across cultures agreed. Numbers are living symbols, carriers of vibration and intelligence. Each number holds frequency, meaning, and purpose. 1 is origin, unity, the seed of all manifestation. 2 is duality, reflection, the dance between self and mirror. 3 is creation, the birth that arises when opposites unite. 4 is foundation, stability, form, matter. 5 is transformation, movement, freedom, evolution. 6 is harmony, the balance of heart and mind. 7 is mystery, initiation, the bridge between worlds. 8 is infinity, power flow, and eternal return. 9 is completion, mastery, fulfillment, transcendence. And 0, often forgotten, is the womb, the infinite void, from which all arises and to which all returns. Numbers appear to you constantly not as coincidence, but as communication. When the same sequence repeats, 1, 11, 2, and 22, 333. The universe is calling your attention to alignment. Each pattern is a frequency echo, a subtle confirmation that your inner world and outer path are synchronizing. 111. Whispers of creation thought becoming form. 222 speaks of balance, trust, divine timing. 333 reminds you of support the unseen working with you. 444 brings grounding stability in the storm. 555 signals change the old dissolving for the new. 666 misunderstood by fear speaks of rebalancing between spirit and matter. 777 glows with awakening the soul, remembering truth. 888 hums abundance, the infinite flow of giving and receiving. 999 whispers closure, the lesson complete the cycle fulfilled. Numbers are not superstition. They are resonance markers, signs that consciousness is weaving through your awareness. When you notice them, pause, breathe, feel what you were thinking or feeling at that exact moment. The message is always contextual, an energetic reflection, not an external command. Even your own life path follows numeric rhythm. Birth dates, names, events all vibrate with unique signatures. This is the essence of numerology, not fortune-telling, but translation. Numbers reveal the blueprint of cycles, years of expansion, contraction, rest, and renewal. To understand them is to surf the rhythm rather than resist it. Mathematics is sacred geometry, in motion, the universe writing itself through proportion and symmetry. The golden ratio, the Fibonacci spiral, the orbit of planets all follow numerical harmony. What appears as math is actually music, and you are one of its notes. To align with the code of numbers, live with awareness of rhythm. Trust the seasons of your own cycle. When doors close, you may simply be between frequencies. When new beginnings arise, listen to the subtle count in your soul. 1, 2, 3, creation's heartbeat, restarting. Tonight, as you drift into rest, imagine numbers swirling in golden light, floating softly like notes in a cosmic song. You are both composer and melody, both pattern and participant. Feel the quiet intelligence of creation, counting with you. Inhale, 1, exhale, 2. You are a number in the equation of infinity, precise, essential, eternal. And the universe never miscalculates. Chapter 25. The Great Web of Consciousness. Everything that exists, every leaf, every thought, every planet, every soul, is a thread in one vast web of consciousness. This web is not metaphorical. It is literal. It is the quantum field, the living matrix of awareness that holds, connects, and transmits all things. Nothing stands apart. Each action, each emotion, each intention ripples through the web, touching everything else in ways unseen, but deeply felt. You are both the weaver and the thread. The choices you make, the energy you emit, the thoughts you nurture, all send vibrations through this collective fabric. When you act from love, you strengthen the web's harmony. When you act from fear, you add distortion. Every word becomes a signal, every emotion, a pulse that travels across dimensions, returning to you, amplified through the same network you helped create. This is why consciousness expands through compassion. Compassion is not sentiment, it is physics. When you feel empathy for another, you acknowledge connection. When you extend kindness, you stabilize the web. The suffering of one being tugs on the whole net, but so does the healing of one heart. You cannot rise alone because you were never separate to begin with. The great teachers understood this long before science could measure it. They called it Indra's net, an infinite lattice of jewels, each reflecting every other jewel within it. Touch one, and the whole net shimmers. That is consciousness, a self-aware tapestry, reflecting itself endlessly. The quantum field mirrors this truth. When one particle shifts, its entangled twin responds instantly no matter the distance. You and the stars obey the same principle. You are not in the universe. You are the universe expressing itself in human form. Every heartbeat in you is echoed by the pulse of galaxies. Every realization you have sends light through the field, making it easier for others to awaken. Even thoughts are shared property. Every inspired idea, every intuitive breakthrough enters the collective field. That is why inventions appear simultaneously in different corners of the world. Why strangers dream the same symbols. Why one person's courage can ignite movements across continents. The web of consciousness distributes wisdom, like light refracting through water, endlessly, generously, perfectly. To work consciously with this web, live as if your energy matters, because it does. Every complaint adds noise. Every gratitude adds clarity. Every act of service, no matter how small, strengthens the frequency of collective evolution. You are transmitting always. Choose what you broadcast. Meditation, prayer, art, and presence are ways of weaving light into the net. When you meditate, your brain waves entrain to coherence, and that coherence ripples outward. When you create beauty, the pattern of your joy reorganizes energy beyond your perception. You are a signal tower in a network of souls. Your silence is data. Your love is code. Tonight, as you rest, imagine yourself as a luminous thread within an infinite web stretching across the cosmos. Each intersection glows soul stars, trees, oceans, all vibrating together in one shared heartbeat. As you inhale, the web brightens. As you exhale, its rhythm synchronizes with yours. You are not alone, and you never were. Every prayer you whisper is already heard. Every kindness you give travels farther than light. You are both the dreamer and the woven dream, a single shining strand in the great web of consciousness. Chapter 26. The power of ritual is not superstition. It is remembrance. It is the art of turning ordinary moments into portals of meaning, of transforming repetition into reverence. When done consciously, ritual becomes language, a way for the finite self to speak directly to the infinite, for the human to touch the divine through simple, deliberate action. Every culture that has ever existed has practiced ritual, because the soul instinctively knows energy moves where intention is honored. Lighting a candle, bowing your head, whispering a prayer, sipping tea in silence. These are not empty gestures. They are energetic signatures, ways of aligning inner vibration with universal rhythm. Ritual anchors spirit into matter. It bridges the unseen and the seen. The modern world, in its haste, has forgotten this language. We rush through meals without gratitude, through days without pause, through transitions without reflection, yet without ritual, the thread between sacred and mundane frays. Ritual is what reminds the soul that life itself is holy. A ritual does not have to be elaborate. It only has to be intentional. Pouring water can be an offering. Cleaning a space can be purification. Writing can be invocation. Walking in nature can be prayer. The difference lies in awareness. When you move consciously, presence transforms action into ceremony. Ritual is also how the subconscious mind learns new truth. The subconscious speaks in repetition and symbol, not logic. Each time you repeat a meaningful act, journaling at sunrise, meditating at night, lighting a candle, before creating, you impress your intention deeper into that inner realm. Over time, ritual becomes embodiment. The intention turns from thought into reality. The elements themselves, fire, water, Air, earth are timeless tools of ritual. Fire transforms water, purifies air, carries intention, and earth grounds it into form. Even your breath can be ritual. Inhale to receive, exhale to release. You do not need permission, only presence. There are rituals for beginnings, lighting a candle and saying, "May this path unfold with clarity." Rituals for endings, closing your eyes and whispering, "Thank you for what has been. I now let go." Rituals for healing, bathing in salt and imagining pain dissolving into the sea. Rituals for creation, writing your desire on paper, then burning it to release it into the ether. It is not the act that holds the power, it is the consciousness behind it. When you honor transitions, the universe honors your awareness. When you make time for ritual, you remind existence that you are an active participant in the dance of creation. Ritual also restores rhythm to a chaotic world. It marks thresholds, dawn and dusk, birth and death, work and rest, giving shape to the formless flow of time. Without these anchors, life blurs into sameness. With them, every day becomes a ceremony, each breath a verse in an eternal prayer. Tonight before sleep, create a small ritual. Light a candle, or simply place your hand over your heart. Speak aloud, "I sanctify this moment. I remember that I am part of the sacred rhythm of life." Then breathe slowly, letting gratitude move through you, like light through water. Feel how the air itself responds, still, attentive, alive. You have just turned a moment into eternity. That is the power of ritual, to remind you that the divine was never elsewhere. It has always been waiting quietly inside every act you perform with love. Chapter 27. The silence of the stars. When night falls and the sky unfolds its thousand eyes, a deeper silence descends, not the absence of sound, but the presence of vastness. That silence is ancient, older than words, older than memory. The stars have been shining through it for billions of years, patient witnesses to every rise and fall, every birth and ending. To look at them is to remember how small the noise of the human mind truly is. The stars do not rush. They do not argue. They burn in quiet certainty, guided by laws that never waver. Their light travels across unimaginable distances, arriving precisely when it is meant to, sometimes long after the star itself has died. In this way, the stars teach us the rhythm of eternity, that what is real never truly disappears, and that light can outlive its source. When you stand beneath them, something within you stirs, a quiet recognition that you too are made of the same substance. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your cells, all were forged in stellar furnaces. You are not beneath the stars. You are their continuation, walking on Earth for a little while. This realization dissolves the illusion of isolation. The universe does not look down on you from above. It breathes through you. You are a constellation in motion, a living pattern of cosmic memory. When you gaze at the stars, you are looking into your own origin, the luminous ancestors of your body and soul. In the silence of the stars, the mind finally loosens its grip. Thoughts slow, emotions settle, awareness expands. The vastness humbles you and paradoxically empowers you. You realize how brief each worry is, how fleeting every fear. Against the backdrop of infinity, even pain becomes a passing cloud. What remains is awe, the most honest form of prayer. Ancient cultures understood this communion. They built temples aligned with constellations, charted time by the movement of stars, and listened for messages in their dance. To them, The sky was scripture, a living text, written in light. They did not see gods beyond the stars. They saw the divine as the stars speaking in radiance instead of words. You do not need telescopes or formulas to read that language. You only need stillness. Go outside, breathe the night air, and look upward. Let the quiet stretch you open. Feel how each sparkle calls a memory from your soul, a whisper that says, "You have been here before," because you have. The dust of ancient suns moves through your veins. Their silence hums in your heartbeat. Silence then is not emptiness, it is communion. When you stop speaking, you can finally hear what the cosmos has been saying all along, that creation is not chaos, but harmony, not distance, but intimacy. The stars do not compete to shine. They coexist in perfect cooperation. They remind you that true power does not shout. It radiates. Tonight before you sleep, imagine yourself lying beneath a canopy of light. Let the stars drift through your breath, your thoughts, your pulse. Feel your body expand until you are both the sky and the earth beneath it, still luminous, infinite. The silence of the stars is not beyond you. It is within you, a vast eternal calm, waiting to be remembered. And when you touch it, even for a moment, you understand. You are not a small being gazing into space. You are the cosmos, remembering its own light. Chapter 28. The hidden purpose of suffering. No soul incarnates to suffer, and yet no soul leaves this world untouched by it. Suffering is not punishment, it is refinement. It is the friction that polishes the mirror of consciousness until it can reflect the divine without distortion. Though it feels cruel when you are inside, its suffering is often the hand that removes what could never belong to your truth. Every wound is a teacher, every ache a curriculum of awakening. Pain does not arrive to break you. It arrives to break what is false within you. Illusions of control, attachments to outcomes, identities built on fear. Like a sculptor chipping away at marble, life uses suffering to reveal the shape hidden beneath. The ego calls it loss. The soul calls it remembering. In your lowest moments, when all certainty dissolves, something miraculous happens. Pretense falls away. You are stripped bare of roles, titles, masks. What remains is essence, raw, real, luminous. Suffering burns away distraction and forces you into presence. It demands surrender to what is. And in that surrender, you meet the part of yourself that cannot be destroyed. The mind fears pain because it believes it will end you. But pain, when faced with awareness, becomes a doorway. When you stop resisting, you begin to see its intelligence. It isolates you so you can listen. It slows you so you can see. It empties you so grace can enter. The seed cracks because it must, or else it will never bloom. Across every tradition, suffering has been initiation. The Buddha left comfort to face it and found enlightenment. Christ walked through it and found resurrection. The mystic Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." The ancients understood the fire that destroys also purifies. You cannot bypass suffering, nor should you glorify it. You must meet it consciously, compassionately. Let it teach, but not define. Let it refine, but not cage. The difference between suffering and awakening lies in whether you resist or receive. The pain of resistance multiplies. The pain of acceptance transforms. Ask yourself when hardship arrives, what is this revealing that comfort could never show me? Perhaps it is resilience, compassion, patience, or the courage to let go. When you find meaning, pain loses its poison. Suffering without meaning is despair. Suffering with meaning is metamorphosis. and always after the darkness comes dawn. The human heart is infinitely regenerative. It remembers how to mend, how to turn scars into stories of light. You will not emerge the same, you will emerge truer. Stronger not because you avoided breaking, but because you discovered that breaking was never the end. When you look back one day, you will see that the worst moments were secret gifts, points of compression that birthed expansion. What once felt like loss will reveal itself as liberation. The storm that uprooted you will have carried you closer to your source. Tonight, as you lie, still imagine every pain you've ever carried as stones placed gently at your feet. With each breath, they begin to glow, first dimly, then brighter, until they turn into lanterns, lighting your path forward. You walk barefoot, but unafraid, guided by the light born of your own sorrow. Suffering is not the end of grace. It is its beginning. Through pain, the heart learns to see without eyes, to trust without proof, to love without condition. And in that love, suffering finally fulfills its hidden purpose, to return you to the truth that cannot be hurt. Chapter 29. The Eternal Law of Cause and Effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every whisper of wind, every thought, every choice, all are threads in the great tapestry of causation, woven with perfect precision. The universe is not random. It is responsive. It does not punish or reward. It simply reflects. This is the law of cause and effect, the eternal equilibrium that governs both stars and souls. Every cause you set into motion, through word, deed, or even thought, releases a vibration that travels through the field of consciousness. That vibration does not vanish. It circles back, harmonizing with the frequency that birthed it. Like an echo returning from the mountains, life mirrors the tone you send. What you plant, you harvest. What you emit, you attract. Karma, in its truest sense, is not retribution. It is education. It is the universe's way of ensuring understanding the feedback loop of evolution. When you cause pain, you will one day feel it not as punishment, but as perspective. When you cause love, you will receive it not as reward, but as resonance. Karma is the soul's curriculum. Learn, align, refine. Every moment you are planting causes consciously or unconsciously. A kind word today may bloom as unexpected help years from now. A careless act may ripple into lessons that return until you awaken. The field forgets nothing, yet forgives everything once the lesson is learned. Awareness dissolves karma faster than time. The moment you understand the pattern, the echo ceases, the loop completes itself. The law of cause and effect is not confined to morality. It shapes physics, biology, emotion, destiny. Energy cannot vanish. It only changes form. The anger you suppress becomes illness. The gratitude you express becomes vitality. The generosity you give multiplies through unseen channels and finds its way back as grace. But the most profound causes are thoughts. Thoughts are blueprints. Emotions are fuel. Together, they mold reality. You may believe your secret thoughts are private, but the universe hears them as vibration. The world you experience is simply their reflection, your inner conversation made visible. To work with this law consciously is to live with reverence. Before you speak, ask, what seed am I planting? Before you act, ask, what energy am I releasing into the field? You will begin to see that life responds immediately, sometimes gently, sometimes unmistakably, but always accurately. Forgiveness is how you rewrite cause. The moment you forgive, you stop sending energy toward the past. You redirect the current toward healing. Gratitude is how you accelerate effect. It magnetizes higher frequencies to return. Awareness is the lever that moves karma, the shift from unconscious creation to deliberate harmony. Do not fear this law, celebrate it. It is the guarantee of fairness in a seemingly chaotic world. It means nothing is wasted, no act unseen, no effort in vain. Even your mistakes become sacred when used for growth. Tonight, as you breathe, reflect gently. What causes am I planting with my thoughts today? See them as seeds of light entering the soil of tomorrow. Some will sprout quickly. Others will grow silently beneath the surface, waiting for divine timing. Trust the process. The law never sleeps, but it always serves evolution. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are an artist painting reality, stroke by stroke. Choose your causes wisely, for their echoes become your world. And remember, the universe does not keep score, it keeps balance. When your intent aligns with love, every effect becomes blessing. Chapter 30. The Key of Imagination. Imagination is not make-believe, it is creation's laboratory. It is the workshop of the divine where unseen realities are shaped before they are born into form. Every invention, every masterpiece, every revolution began as a flicker of imagination in the mind of someone who dared to see beyond what was. What the world calls fantasy is often tomorrow's truth, waiting for courage to believe it. You were born with this power. As a child, you used it freely, turning clouds into kingdoms, shadows into friends, dreams into possible worlds. Then somewhere along the way, society taught you to replace wonder with logic, to trade vision for realism, to doubt what could not be measured. But imagination is not childish. It is sacred. It is the soul remembering its creative authority. To imagine is to participate in the mind of the universe. When you visualize, you are not escaping reality. You are programming it. The subconscious does not distinguish between imagination and experience. It accepts both as truth and begins adjusting the field accordingly. This is why athletes rehearse success in their minds before it happens, and why visionaries see the impossible before it manifests. Imagination is the blueprint of manifestation. But imagination is not mere daydreaming. True imagination is focused awareness, emotion, and image united by belief. It is not the fleeting wish. It is the felt knowing. When you imagine vividly and consistently, the vibration becomes magnetic. The universe, attuned to resonance, begins rearranging circumstances to match your inner movie. The mind is a projector. The world is its screen. Whatever reel you play long enough becomes visible to the senses. If you replay fear, you witness reasons to fear. If you imagine abundance with gratitude, you magnetize opportunity. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid, shaped by imagination, empowered by emotion. However, imagination demands responsibility. The same faculty that can create miracles can also create misery when hijacked by worry. Worry is inverted imagination, faith in what you do not want. Every fearful scenario you dwell upon is a prayer for its possibility. The universe listens without bias. It amplifies whatever energy is strongest. To use imagination wisely, begin with stillness. Silence the noise, close your eyes, and enter the inner screen. See not with sight, but with sensation. Feel the scene as if it already exists. The textures, the scents, the emotions of completion. The more real it feels, the faster it forms. This is the forgotten language of creation. Feeling is the code. Even ancient mystics knew this truth. They spoke of the imagination as the eye of God within man. In that eye, possibilities are infinite. When imagination is guided by love and purpose, it becomes prophecy. When guided by fear, it becomes nightmare. The tool itself is neutral. Your consciousness wields it. You are not powerless to circumstance. You are the architect, designing the pattern behind it. Every great transformation begins with an imagined world that feels truer than the one you see. As Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge limits itself to what is known. Imagination opens the door to what is possible. Tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and imagine one version of yourself living in complete alignment, peaceful, abundant, radiant. See that version of you breathing in the same rhythm as your own. Merge with it. Feel its confidence, its calm. Let that image sink into the deepest layers of your mind, like a seed in fertile soil. Imagination is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Guard it. Nurture it. Use it with love. For the worlds you dream today become the worlds you will walk tomorrow. Chapter 31. The Hidden Unity of All Paths. Across centuries, continents, and civilizations, humanity has built 1,000 paths to truth, religions, philosophies, sciences, and stories. Each claims to hold the key, yet beneath the symbols, the rituals, and the words, every path leads to the same summit. The mountain has many trails, but one peak, oneness. The sages of every age have tried to tell us this in their own tongue. The mystic whispers, all is God. The scientist says, all is energy. The philosopher declares, all is mind. Each is describing the same reality from a different vantage point. The language changes, but the essence remains. The universe is one living being, infinite in expression, yet singular in source. Division arises only when we mistake the finger for the moon, when we cling to the form and forget the truth it points toward. Religion without experience becomes dogma. Science without wonder becomes arrogance. But when heart and mind meet, revelation blooms. The sacred and the rational were never enemies. They were two eyes of the same vision. Imagine a prism catching white light. What you see are colors, red, blue, green, each distinct, each beautiful, yet all emerge from one beam. So it is with truth. The mystic prays, the scientist experiments, the artist creates, the lover serves, all refracting the same divine light through the prism of their individuality. Unity does not erase diversity, it celebrates it. The one becomes the many, so it can know itself through contrast. When you judge another's path, you forget that it may be the mirror that completes your own. The monk's silence, the dancer's movement, the child's laughter, the elder's wisdom, each reveals a facet of the same jewel. To recognize unity is to end conflict. It is to see that no one truly wins until all rise together. It is to understand that another's suffering diminishes the field we all share. Compassion is no longer moral obligation. It is enlightened self-awareness. Even science now hums the same hymn. Quantum physics shows that all particles are entangled, responding instantaneously to one another. Spirituality calls this oneness. Physics calls it coherence. Different words, same truth. Separation is illusion. When you awaken to unity, life stops being a competition and becomes a symphony. Every being is an instrument, each playing its part. Some notes are sharp, others soft, but the music requires them all. To hate another is to strike your own chord out of tune. To love another is to restore harmony to the whole. This understanding does not ask you to abandon your path, only to walk it with humility. Honor your truth, but bow to the truths of others. Drink from your chosen stream, But remember that all streams return to the same ocean. When you meet someone walking a different road, smile. They are simply exploring another angle of God. Unity is not something you must reach. It is what you have never left. The mind divides, but the heart remembers. Every act of love, every moment of awareness, every instance of forgiveness dissolves another illusion of separation and brings you closer to what has always been whole. Tonight, as you breathe, imagine standing at the summit of that mountain. Around you stretch countless paths, winding, crossing, converging, each lit by lanterns of every color, every faith, every philosophy. From above, you see it clearly. They all spiral upward toward the same light. And in that moment, you understand there was never your path or their path, only the one walking itself home through infinite forms. Chapter 32. The Return to Source. Every journey, no matter how vast, circles back to where it began. The soul's long pilgrimage through lifetimes, through joy and sorrow, through forgetting and remembering, is not a voyage to somewhere new, but a spiral, returning to the center, the source. The source is not a distant place or a deity hidden in the clouds. It is the living intelligence that breathes through every atom, every heartbeat, every breath of wind. It is not something you must find. It is what you have always been. The river does not need to seek the ocean. It is already water. The search ends the moment you realize you were never lost. This is the great paradox of awakening. You spend your life looking outward for what has been silently waiting within. The temples, the teachers, the signs, the struggles, all were mirrors, pointing back to the truth pulsing in your own chest. The end of the path is the beginning, seen with new eyes. When consciousness completes its cycle of exploration, a gentle longing arises, not for achievement, but for home. You begin to crave simplicity, stillness, essence. The noise of ambition fades, and the desire to be someone melts into the peace of simply being. This is the soul's return, the moment when doing dissolves into knowing and knowing into being. To return to source is not to vanish into nothingness. It is to expand into everything. You realize that your identity was never limited to your body name or story. These were garments the infinite wore for a time. When they fall away, you do not disappear. You reveal what was underneath all along, pure awareness. The source is not static. It is a pulse, a breathing cosmos, forever creating and reabsorbing itself. You are one of its pulses, an expression of the divine longing to know itself in form. Every experience you've lived, every emotion you've felt, every tear and triumph has enriched that knowing. The universe evolves through you. The return does not mean escape from the world, but re-engagement with it, this time through love instead of fear. You no longer seek to control life. You participate in its unfolding. You move through the world as a clear vessel of presence, grounded, calm, luminous. Action arises naturally, guided by something deeper than thought. You become what the mystics call a hollow bone, the divine, moving through form without obstruction. In this state, even silence feels full. Every breath is prayer. Every step is blessing. The world once fragmented reveals its perfection. You recognize yourself in the faces of strangers, in the rhythm of the rain, in the stillness between heartbeats. Everything becomes the source, gazing back at itself. And when your time in this form comes to an end, you will not fear it. You will know that death is only the exhale of existence, the body returning to earth, the spirit returning to the field, the light returning to light. Nothing is lost. The drop rejoins the ocean and discovers it was the ocean all along. Tonight, as you rest, imagine your consciousness as a sphere of radiant light floating in infinite space. With each breath, it expands, merging with the stars, the galaxies, the whole of creation, until there is no you left, only presence. Feel the peace that follows vast, boundless, eternal. This is the home you have been seeking through every lifetime, every prayer, every longing. You are not returning to the source. You are returning as the source. The circle is complete. The seeker has found. And what remains is silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of everything. Conclusion. You have walked the arc from forgetting to remembrance through language and silence, through science and spirit, through the stars and the chambers of your own heart. What began as curiosity has become recognition. Reality is not a prison. It is a mirror. Energy does not ask permission. It responds to you. And you are not separate from the field. You are the field focused here as a life. Keep this simple breath, attention, vibration, action. Breathe to return to center. Aim your attention like light through a lens. Choose the frequency you will broadcast gratitude instead of grievance, clarity instead of confusion, compassion instead of contempt. Then act in alignment, however small the step. The law of cause and effect is precise. The web of consciousness is immediate. What you embody becomes instruction to the universe. You are not required to be perfect. You are invited to be coherent. Coherence is a heart steady enough to lead the mind, a mind clear enough to serve the soul, and a body cared for as sacred infrastructure. When coherence rises, synchronicity gathers around you like iron to a magnet. Doors open because you have become the key. Honor the law of exchange. Receive without guilt. Give without depletion. Guard your temple. What you allow into your body, your home, your mind, becomes part of your field. Embrace polarity. Day and night are both teachers. When the fire of transformation arrives, remember it burns only what is not truly you. When fear appears at the threshold, greet it as a gatekeeper and walk through. On the other side is unborrowed strength. Let ritual steady your days. In the morning, 3 conscious breaths and a single true intention. At midday, a pause to notice the symbol that keeps repeating and the lesson it carries. At night, a short accounting. What did I send into the field today? What will I choose to send tomorrow? Record your dreams. They are instructions wrapped in image. Track your synchronicities. They are confirmations that you are listening. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you vowed to protect. The subconscious records your voice as law. Make your language worthy of your becoming. Practice the imagination of the brave. See the world you are building until your nervous system recognizes it as home. Then let gratitude lock it into place. Remember the unity beneath all paths. Use the rigor of reason, the courage of action, the tenderness of love. You are here to make spirit practical in how you create care, build, heal, and lead. Do not wait to be ready. Readiness is a decision. Begin now where you stand. Tonight, as you drift to sleep, allow these teachings to settle beyond thought into the quiet intelligence that has always guided you. Tomorrow, rise as evidence, not merely one who knows, but one who embodies. Walk as resonance. Speak as alignment. Give as overflow. Lead with the frequency you wish the world to remember. You are the listener, and the song the wave, and the ocean, the seeker, and the source. Step forward with a steady heart. The universe is already moving to meet you. If this audiobook gave you even one moment of clarity, share it with someone who might need the same pause. And subscribe so next time, calm finds you first.